What's up, buttercups? How are you this morning? I'm great. Yesterday, I did a video on the importance of literacy and some different ways to incorporate literacy around your house. Well, today I want to do a math activity, but before we start, I want to tell you why math is an important part of learning for children, especially in the early years. Um, it Math skills provide vital life skills. They'll help children to be able to problem solve, measure, develop spatial awareness, and teach them how to use and understand different shapes. Children between the ages of 1 and 5 are beginning to explore patterns and shapes, compare sizes, and count objects. When it comes to preschool children, they should be using a variety of methods to problem solve and talk about what they have discovered through mathematical processes. Um, During this age between 1 and 5, this all needs to take place through play. I don't expect you to sit down and teach your children how to add with just numbers. They need concrete objects, they need hands on experiences, and they need real life, meaningful experiences so that they can make the connections that they need to be proficient in math. um, they need block play, literacy play, outdoor play, science play. Um, all of that requires math. Um, Research has shown that children's learning in the first 6 years of life is some of the most important years of their life, especially when it comes to experiencing mathematics. We need to provide engaging environments. We need to encourage our children. We need to help develop and boost their confidence in their ability to use and understand. Talk to your child about math. If you're cooking, talk about measuring and what kind of cups you use to measure or spoons you use to measure. Which one's larger? Which one's a bigger amount? Um, those are some of the examples that I can think of right offhand that you could do just to incorporate math. Um, if we do this and we're positive about it, and we teach mathematics through play, we're going to help our children to really develop their curiosity, imagination, flexibility, persistence. And all of these things will contribute to the future success in and out of school. Some of the things that I can think of that early childhood age children need to know by first grade. And the earlier we can start, the better off we'll be. Some of the things that I can think of is like size, shape, patterns, to count verbally. Guys, you need to count forward first. Let your child master counting forward and then start with the backwards. I know in teaching pre-K that we have to count 0 through 20 orally and backwards from 5. But in kindergarten, they have to be able to count orally from 0 to 100. So there's a big gap there that you and I and everybody else that encounters that child has to help bridge So don't start backwards, go forward. Make real life connections to them. Um, Recognizing numbers. I know that one way you could do that is to make numbers and place them around your house on index cards or notebook paper. Um, Guys, you know what I say. I'm looking for my handy dandy painter's tape and my wax paper. Um, that would help. Identifying more and less of a quantity. Who has the most? Who has the least? These are some vocabulary words we need to be using with the children. Um, who is this equal? Understanding one-to-one correspondence, and what that means is that if I see the number one, I can put one object with that number one. Or if I tell you to put out um, five to match the numeral five, you can do that. One-to-one correspondence. Um, Being able to match sets and then be able to compare them. So these are just some of the skills that they have to need to know, or excuse me, that they need to know in order to be successful by first grade. And we can do this right around our house. I just want to share with you where some of my resources came from. You're going to hear me to refer to NACY a lot. And what NACY means, it is NAEYC, and it means National Association for the Education of Young Children. And they provide us with lots and lots and lots of research that has shown that children of young ages learn better through play and through hands-on concrete experiences. Okay, now, since we have all of that out of the way, I want to share an activity with you that goes right along with math. And I'm using a muffin or cupcake pan. This one happens to be 12 sections. And if you can see, I've put different things on different rows. That's because I'm going to show you some different ways to use a muffin pan with math. So, let's hope this stays right here. If you can see on the top row, I've done red, yellow, blue, and green. And I have objects over here. I've just picked up these. Some of these are just assorted sizes. Because we're not focusing on size, we're just focusing on color. I have picked up some Legos that are different colors. So what you would do is you can, for your pom-poms, use tongs and have them to separate the pom-poms into the correct section that's marked. So you're sorting by color, you're identifying colors, and you're working those fine motor skills with this. Alright, so that's one activity I've set up. You could do this with all the colors if you wanted to, if you had all the objects to match. Alright, on the next row, I have blue, orange, blue, orange. So what I would do here is make a pattern. So I would get blue, orange, blue. I don't have any more pom-poms, but it doesn't matter. Oh, yes, I do. One right here, orange. So now I've actually made a pattern with my muffin pan. All right. And for your smaller objects, I wouldn't require them to use the tongs. I would only do those on your larger objects. And of course, with your smaller children, you need to start out big, larger, work to smaller. You can also do this with a variety of materials. You could make these out of coffee canisters. They're not metal anymore, they're plastic. Shoe boxes. And put stickers on the front and use your painter's tape so that it'll peel off easy and won't tear it up, and you can reuse the canisters. All right, now on the bottom, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guess what we're going to do here? Yes, one-to-one correspondence. This is where you're going to get them to match objects with the number. So, for instance, I put 1 pom-pom in there. I'm going to put 2 Legos in there. The next number is 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember, kids, you don't count until you put it in there. And then the next number is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here you have your color recognition, which is really sorting. You have pattern making, and you have one-to-one correspondence. All right, so this would be great for those activities. But I have also tried to think of ways to use this with older children. And let me dump these out right quick. Have made a plus sign, a minus sign, and an equal sign. All right, this gives them a hands-on concrete way to see how addition and subtraction work. So you would put, let's start with addition. All right. So I would say 4 plus 1 equals. Now, you can either have them go back over here or put it right up underneath if you only have a 4-row muffin pan. So, I would say 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1 equals. Then you take all of these and count them and put them in the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I've just done an addition problem with muffin tins. So that's another way you could use it. Now, for your older children, I'm sure there's a way you could figure out how to use these even with multiplication. So muffin tins are a great way to incorporate a lot of math skills with items laying around your house. Another thing that I've done is, I'm sorry I couldn't find it. You know, I told you earlier that I like buttons. So for sorting, and of course, guys, please remember, if you are doing this with small children, to please supervise them if you're using small objects. I have even 4-year-olds still that put things in their mouth that I have to watch carefully when we're using small objects. So, you have a 4-hole button or a 2-hole button. So, I can get out all of my buttons, and I would sort. I give them a couple of buttons to sort the objects. I'm trying to find a 2-hole button right this minute. But anyway, I don't have very many. So once they sort them, you could talk about how many, count them, and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 5. Oh, and you could even show them the number up underneath it, which helps with the 1-to-1. Okay, so I had 5 of these. And how many of the 2-hole button did I have? I had none. So I just made a 0. That way your child can see 5.